85% of Americans die before the age of 82. Right now, while you're watching this video, millions of people are shortening their own lives simply because of 5 seemingly harmless habits. They don't die from cancer, not from accidents, but from small mistakes they repeat every day without knowing. I know this sounds scary, but hear me out. Could you be among that 85% without realizing it? If I told you that by simply avoiding these 5 mistakes, you could add 10 to 15 healthy years to your life, would you believe me? I am 94 years old, belonging to the fortunate 15% who are still alive. But it's not luck. It's the result of avoiding the 5 deadly mistakes I am about to reveal. This video could save your life. I'm serious, no exaggeration. The good news is that 4 of these 5 mistakes can be completely reversed if you start today. The bad news is that if you continue to make them, the statistics will not be in your favor. But before we talk about these 5 deadly mistakes, let me tell you about Walter. Walter was my best friend. 79 years old, passed away last year, not from a terminal illness, but from a chain of small, accumulated mistakes he was completely unaware of. 3 months before Walter passed, he told me, "I don't understand why my body is deteriorating so quickly. I was so healthy when I was younger." Walter's family thought it was natural old age. They were completely wrong. Walter died because of 5 silent killers that most of us harbor in our bodies without knowing. These killers don't kill you immediately. They kill you slowly, gently, until you realize it's too late. The average life expectancy in the U.S. is 78.8 years for men and 81.4 years for women. The statistic that 85% die before 82 isn't due to bad genes or bad luck. The real cause is accumulated damage from daily mistakes over 20 to 30 years. Just as small drops of water can wear down a rock, small daily mistakes can destroy a whole life. Walter made all 5 of these mistakes. I also used to make 4 of them. The difference is I stopped in time. Walter didn't. The ancient Greeks had a saying, "Know thyself. To live long, you must first know what is killing you." The first mistake Walter made, and perhaps you too, is a silent dehydration trap. Do you often have headaches? Feel dizzy when you stand up? Suffer from chronic constipation? Do you also think drinking 2 or 3 glasses of water a day is enough? That's exactly what Walter thought. I clearly remember the last afternoon I saw Walter. He was sitting in the corner of a coffee shop, holding his 4th cup of coffee of the day, complaining about a persistent headache. "It's old age," he said. "Everyone gets headaches." I advised him to drink more water. He laughed. "I drink water all the time. It's not like I'm lacking it." But Walter was wrong. We are all wrong when we think we drink enough water. Older adults gradually lose their sense of thirst. Their kidneys no longer concentrate water as efficiently as before. We need more water, but we drink less. It's a deadly, vicious cycle. Dorothy, 76, experienced something similar. She was rushed to the emergency room for a stroke. Doctors raced against time, performed CT scans and blood tests. But it wasn't a stroke. It was severe dehydration. Mrs. Dorothy had been living on the brink of danger for months without knowing. Chronic dehydration makes blood thicker. The heart has to work harder to pump this thick blood throughout the body. The brain doesn't receive enough oxygen. The kidneys are overworked. Slowly, the body begins to break down from the inside. That's exactly what happened to Walter. Those in the 15% who live long understand that hydration isn't just about drinking water when thirsty. It's a sacred ritual of life. They start each day with a large glass of water as soon as they open their eyes, before touching anything else. They understand that the body has lost water for 8 hours overnight and needs to be revived immediately. I remember when I was 70, I also made this mistake. I woke up every morning with a head as heavy as lead, Joints as stiff as an unoiled robot. I thought it was old age, until my doctor explained that the brain is 75% water, and losing just 2% of water is enough to reduce cognitive function by 23%. Imagine the brain as a super complex computer. Water is its cooling system. Without enough water, the computer starts to run slow, overheat, and eventually break down. That's exactly what happened to Walter every day for the last 20 years of his life. But the saddest story I know is about Margaret, 89 years old. She was admitted to the hospital with symptoms of dementia. Her children were preparing to put her in a nursing home. But a young nurse realized Margaret was just severely dehydrated. After 3 days of proper hydration, Margaret returned to normal completely, shocking her family and doctors. They almost put me in a nursing home because I didn't drink enough water, Margaret recounted later. For 20 years, I only drank water when I was thirsty. I didn't know that as you get older, your sense of thirst diminishes. It was an expensive lesson with a fortunate, happy ending. Signs of dehydration that most older adults ignore: dark yellow urine, skin that loses elasticity when pinched, persistently dry lips, and especially brain fog, a feeling of mental unclearness in the morning. If you need more than 30 minutes to feel awake after waking up, you are very likely chronically dehydrated. Water is not just a drink. Water is life. Lack of water is the shortest path to death. Those in the 15% who live long understand this. They drink 8 ounces of water every 2 hours. They set alarms if needed. They view hydration as a sacred duty of life. The second mistake is the sitting disease. Walter retired and spent 10 hours a day sitting in front of the TV. "I deserved a rest," he often said. "I've worked for 40 years. But resting and sitting all the time are two completely different things. When Walter retired, he had a luxurious leather armchair he called his throne of old age. He sat there from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., only getting up to go to the bathroom and eat. "I deserve to rest," he often said when I advised him to go for a walk. After 40 years of hard work, it's time to enjoy. But Walter didn't understand that enjoying and sitting, waiting to die, are separated by a thin thread. Research from Mayo Clinic shows that sitting for more than 8 hours a day increases the risk of premature death by 90%, regardless of whether you exercise or not. This may sound contradictory, but it's a scientific fact. Our bodies are not designed to sit. We are designed to walk, stand, and move continuously. When you sit for a long time, blood begins to pool in your legs. The heart has to pump harder. Insulin doesn't work effectively, leading to diabetes. The gluteal and back muscles weaken. The spine curves. The lungs don't expand fully, reducing the amount of oxygen in the blood. I witnessed this process with Robert, 83, my neighbor. After retiring, Robert decided to relax completely. He bought a 75-inch TV and sat watching it from morning till night. In just 18 months, he went from a tall, robust man to a hunched-over old man, gasping for breath just walking from the living room to the kitchen. "I don't understand," Robert told me during our last meeting. "I don't do anything strenuous. Why am I so tired?" That was precisely the problem. The body is like a river. Flowing water is clear. Stagnant water stinks. Robert had let his body stagnate for too long. People often say rest to live longer, but that's a deadly misunderstanding. Active rest, reading in the garden, walking slowly, light gardening, is completely different from sitting motionless. The body needs active rest, not passive rest. Sitting for long periods doesn't just cause muscle atrophy. It thickens the blood, reduces insulin sensitivity, and turns the body into a slow, self-destructing machine. Scientists call this phenomenon sitting is the new smoking. Prolonged sitting is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The 15% who live long have a golden rule. Don't sit for more than 30 minutes continuously. They set an alarm, stand up, and walk around the house for 2 minutes. No need to run a marathon. Just move enough of the heart to pump blood, the lungs to breathe deeply, and the muscles to stretch. They understand that movement is life. Stillness is death. The third mistake Walter made was the invisible malnutrition crisis. You can be starving while still eating your fill. It sounds contradictory, but it's true. Walter ate 3 meals a day, sometimes even snacking. But he ate mostly bread, potatoes, and sweets. His body was full of calories but lacked protein. The invisible malnutrition crisis is one of the strangest phenomena of modern old age. You can eat 3 full meals a day, even gain weight, but still be starving at a cellular level. Walter was living proof of this. I remember the last meals with Walter. He always ordered a cold-cut sandwich, French fries, and a cola. Delicious. Fills me up, he would laugh. But on that plate, the protein was only 10%. The rest was carbohydrates and unhealthy fats. Protein is for gym goers. Walter often said when I advised him to eat more meat, fish, and eggs. I'm old. I can eat anything. That was a deadly misconception. In fact, older people need more protein than younger people, not less. After the age of 60, the body develops anabolic resistance. The ability to build and maintain muscle decreases significantly. If young people need 0.8 g of protein per kg of body weight, older people need at least 1.2 g/kg, even 1.6 g/kg if they want to maintain muscle mass. I witnessed the devastating consequences of protein deficiency through the story of Helen, 91. She lived alone, eating mainly bread, cereal, and fruit because it was easy to chew, easy to digest. In 2 years, she lost 8 kilograms, mostly muscle. When she fell in the bathroom, she didn't have the strength to get up, not because of serious injury, but because her muscles were too weak. I felt like a rag doll, Helen described her feeling. Limp, no strength at all. That is an exact description of sarcopenia, severe muscle loss due to prolonged protein deficiency. Protein doesn't just build muscle. It's also the raw material for the immune system. Antibodies, white blood cells, enzymes, all are made from protein. Protein deficiency means the body cannot defend itself against viruses, bacteria, or even cancer cells. Ruth, 84, broke her hip last year. Everyone thought she fell hard, but the truth is, she didn't fall hard. Her bones broke because they were too weak, and her muscles weren't strong enough to support her body. Ruth had sarcopenia, severe muscle loss due to protein deficiency for many years. 50% of people over 80 are severely protein deficient. This not only weakens muscles, but also impairs the immune system. The body doesn't have enough bricks to build and repair. Like a house lacking materials, the body begins to collapse from within. Dr. Stuart Phillips, a nutrition expert from McMaster University, has a saying I'll never forget. Protein for the elderly is not a supplement. It's medicine. The most powerful anti-aging medicine nature offers. It's not how much you eat, but what you eat and when. Those who live long consume 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. They eat protein at every meal, not just dinner. They understand that protein is not food but medicine, the most potent natural anti-aging medicine. Those in the 15% who live long eat protein like medicine, regularly, in the right dose, at the right time. They don't wait until dinner to eat meat. They eat protein at every meal. Eggs for breakfast, fish for lunch, meat for dinner. They understand that the body cannot store protein like it stores fat. Protein must be replenished daily, hourly. The fourth mistake is the medication cascade. George, 77, took 7 types of medication daily. Blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, heart medication, sleeping pills, pain relievers, stomach acid medication, and cholesterol medication. Each was safe, according to the doctor, but when combined, they became a deadly cocktail. The medication cascade is a frightening phenomenon that most older adults don't realize until it's too late. It starts innocently. One blood pressure pill, then a diabetes pill, because the blood pressure pill raises blood sugar. Then a stomach protector because the diabetes pill causes stomach pain. Then sleeping pills because the stomach protector causes insomnia. George, 77, was a prime example. He started with a simple blood pressure pill. 5 years later, he was taking 7 different medications. Every time I went to the doctor, they added another drug, he said. They said they were all necessary. But no one, not even the doctors, could accurately predict what would happen when 7 different drugs interact in the body of a 77-year-old. George's liver, already naturally aging, had to work overtime to process this chemical mixture. His kidneys, weakened by age, had to filter toxins that the body couldn't fully break down. I remember the last time I saw George. He was sitting at the kitchen table. In front of him, a pill organizer divided by days of the week. "I can't even remember what I'm taking these pills for," he said in a tired voice. "I just take them as directed." 2 weeks later, George passed away from multiple organ failure. His family didn't understand why. I understood. George didn't die from heart disease or diabetes. He died because his body couldn't handle the enormous amount of chemicals he was ingesting daily. It was a slow, legal, and medically supervised poisoning. George didn't die from heart disease or diabetes. He died from the interaction between those 7 safe drugs. His liver couldn't process it all. His kidneys were overloaded. His body was slowly poisoned by the very things meant to save him. Data from the FDA shows that 125,000 Americans die each year from adverse drug reactions. That's more than the number of deaths from traffic accidents and crime combined. But no one talks about this medication pandemic because it doesn't make catchy headlines. Dr. Marcia Angel, former editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine, made a sharp observation. The pharmaceutical industry has turned aging into a disease that needs treatment rather than a natural process that needs support. 125,000 Americans die each year from adverse drug reactions. That's not a medical accident. It's the inevitable consequence of treating drugs like candy. Drugs save lives, but they can also kill if overused. The 15% who live long have a different philosophy about medication. They view drugs as a temporary tool, not a permanent solution. They ask their doctors, "If I change my lifestyle, can I reduce or stop this medication?" They seek to treat the root cause, not just mask the symptoms. Those in the 15% who live long review their medications every 6 months. They ask their doctor, "Do I really need this medication?" They look for ways to reduce medication rather than increase it. They understand that the body has an incredible ability to heal itself if given the right support. I'm not saying that medication is bad. Medication has saved my life more than once. But medication should be used like a scalpel, precisely, minimally, and with an exit plan, not like candy. Consumed continuously without thinking about the consequences. The final mistake, and perhaps the deadliest, is social isolation. Alice, 88, lived alone for the last 5 years of her life. No friends visited. Her children were busy with their own lives. She died of heart disease despite having no family history of it. Social isolation is the most silent and cruel killer. It doesn't kill with knives or guns, but with silence. Alice, 88, spent her final years in a large house as quiet as a cemetery. Her children were busy with their careers. Her grandchildren were busy with school. Friends her age had slowly passed away or moved. There were days I didn't talk to anyone. Alice once confided to me over the phone. My voice became hoarse from disuse. That wasn't a metaphor. It was a physiological truth. The throat muscles, like all other muscles, will weaken if not exercised. But worse than the weakening of the voice is the weakening of the spirit. Prolonged loneliness increases the stress hormone cortisol to toxic levels. High cortisol causes inflammation throughout the body, destroys the immune system, and increases the risk of cancer, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. The doctors didn't understand why, but I understood. Alice died of loneliness. Loneliness isn't just heartbreaking, it actually kills. Chronic loneliness increases the stress hormone cortisol, causes inflammation throughout the body, and increases the risk of cancer and cardiovascular disease. Research from Brigham Young University shows that chronic loneliness increases the risk of premature death by 50%. To compare, obesity only increases the risk of premature death by 30%. This means loneliness is even more dangerous than obesity. But while obesity is considered a serious health problem, loneliness is often dismissed as a normal part of old age. Dr. Vivek Murthy, former U.S. Surgeon General, declared loneliness the silent pandemic of the 21st century. He compared the harm of loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This isn't a flowery comparison. It's a scientific comparison based on real data. I witnessed the destructive power of loneliness through Arthur, 85. After his wife passed away, Arthur withdrew from all social activities. "I don't want to bother anyone," he said. "Everyone has their own lives." In just 2 years, Arthur went from a cheerful, active man to a shadow of his former self. "I feel like I'm already dead, but my body doesn't know it yet," Arthur said the last time we met. 6 months later, he truly passed away from a stroke. No history of cardiovascular disease. No other risk factors besides loneliness. Research shows that chronic loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not a flowery comparison. It's an accurate scientific comparison. Humans are social creatures. Isolation is a slow death. Humans are social creatures. We need connection not just for happiness, but for survival. Our brains are designed to communicate, share, and empathize. When deprived of social stimulation, the brain begins to shrink, just like an unexercised muscle. The 15% who live long understand this. They treat social connection like a vitamin, needed daily. They call a friend every day, even if just to check in. They participate in at least one social activity per week, even if it's just going to the market or sitting in the park. Those in the 15% who live long make one call a day and attend one social activity a week. They understand that connection isn't a luxury, but a necessity for survival. They nurture relationships like they nurture a garden, with daily care. They understand that "I don't want to bother anyone" is actually a slow form of suicide. People need to be needed, to share, to be listened to. When you call a lonely friend, you're not bothering them. You're saving their life. Walter made all 5 of these mistakes. Each mistake was like a small brick. One brick does nothing, but 10,000 bricks can crush an elephant. Walter didn't die from one big mistake. He died from 5 small mistakes over 20 years. 85% have the mindset that's normal at this age. They accept instead of fighting. They decline so slowly they don't realize it. The other 15% have a different mindset. They're always alert to the signs. They prevent rather than treat. Every day they're conscious. You don't need to be perfect. Just avoid 4 out of 5 mistakes. Those who avoid 4 out of 5 have a 73% chance of living past 85. Those who avoid all 5 have an 89% chance of living past 90. I am living proof of this number. After hearing these things, I know you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're thinking, "Oh my God, I made all 5 of these mistakes." Or maybe you're scared. Is it too late for me? Let me tell you, It's never too late. I am 94 years old, and I am still learning, still changing, still improving. The human body has an incredible ability to recover at any age, as long as you give it the right opportunity. Eleanor proved this at 82 when she got rid of her headaches just by drinking enough water. Margaret proved this at 86 when she escaped the risk of dementia. Thomas proved this at 85 when he ditched his walker. Barbara proved this at 91 when she regained her muscle mass. Why can't you? Walter, my best friend, didn't die because he was weak or unintelligent. He died because he didn't know. No one ever told him that sitting and watching TV for 10 hours a day could kill him. No one told him that only drinking water when thirsty could damage his brain. No one warned him about the medication cascade or the danger of loneliness. But now you know. This knowledge places responsibility on your shoulders. You can't ignore it anymore. You can't say, I didn't know anymore. From this moment on, every choice you make is conscious. 85% die before 82 not because of fate, genetics, or bad luck. It's the result of thousands of small choices made daily over decades. The choice to sit instead of stand. The choice of coffee instead of water. The choice of isolation instead of connection. The choice of passivity instead of proactivity. But the 15% who live long are also the result of thousands of small choices. The choice to stand up every 30 minutes. The choice to drink water every 2 hours. The choice to call friends. The choice to review medications. The choice to eat protein at every meal. There's no magic here. Only small choices repeated, accumulating into enormous power over time. Just as small drops of water can create an ocean, small choices can create a long and healthy life. I'm not asking you to change everything starting tomorrow. That would be overwhelming, and you would give up. Instead, choose one mistake, just one, and commit to changing it this week. If you're making mistake number 1, put a 16-ounce glass of water next to your bed and drink it as soon as you wake up. If you're making mistake number 2, set an alarm for every 30 minutes and stand up and walk for 2 minutes. If you're making mistake number 3, add 2 eggs to your breakfast. Choose one. Just one. Do it for a week. When it becomes a habit, add another mistake. Slowly, patiently, but decisively. Remember that every day you wake up is a day you can choose to belong to the 15% or the 85%. Every hour, every minute, every decision matters. Your body is listening. Your cells are waiting. Your future is being decided by what you do right now. I don't want to lose any more friends like Walter. I don't want to hear any more sad stories like Alice, George, or Frank. I want you to live long, live healthy, live happily. I want to meet you when you're 90 and hear you say, "Thank you for saving my life." That's not a fantasy. It's entirely possible if you start today. I don't want to scare you. I want to save your life. Walter was my best friend. I tried to warn him, but he said, "Let me enjoy my relaxing old age." 6 months later, he was gone. Don't let your story end like Walter's. 85% die before 82, not because of fate. It's a choice, an unconscious choice, but still a choice. The 15% who live long aren't lucky. They know how to avoid the 5 deadly mistakes. Now, write in the comments, "I choose 15%, if you're determined to change. Share this video with someone you love. Maybe you'll save their life like I hope I've saved yours. Subscribe so I can share more longevity secrets that 85% never know. Right now, choose one mistake you will stop making from today. Just one. Share this video with someone you love. Maybe you'll save their life. Write in the comment, "I choose 15%, if you're determined to change." Subscribe so I can share more longevity secrets that 85% never know. Remember, Every day you live is a day you can choose to belong to the 15% or the 85%. The choice is yours.